Live is rocking.
All right.
What's up, gang? We're hanging out, doing some Facebook living, and yes, podcasting. So stand by here. I'm going to be doing some actual separate recording on the really good audio. You guys are just going off of Facebook Live audio, but today we're going to be doing a live Facebook episode with my boy here, Jeremy, my new boy, actually. So stand by. We're going to do a professional intro for the actual podcast recording. This is a show that we're going to be airing in the next couple of weeks. But this guy's a pretty motivational, inspirational person. And if you want to hang out on this wonderful Saturday morning with us, you can learn more about him along with me, because I don't know much about him yet either, and we're going to learn about him together. So stand by, guys. All right, good day, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Live the Fuel show. So today, I am recording live. Yes, we are live in a not so beautiful day. It's a fall day. Let's just go with that. It's fall here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're sitting outside of the a very nice grocery store chain called Wegmans. They got this really, really nice patio, and we decided to take advantage of that. We were going to actually record inside of a Starbucks, but the gentleman joining me today, because we always bring on guest co-hosts for the show, you're going to have to catch me up once I'm done here introing you and how the heck we even got connected, but I started looking at his profile and what he's doing. This guy happens to be local. I think he lives maybe 15, 20 minutes from me. And he's very into the motivational, inspirational world. He's even got a fun little book to share with us today as well. So he's also an author. A little hint, I'm actually working on a book right now. So maybe he could teach me a few things live on the show since I'm a rookie. Without further ado, though, welcome to the show, our latest new guest co-host, Jeremy Vermeulen.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate the great introduction there. I'll be more than happy to catch you up with how we actually got hooked up together.
Yeah, refresh me, because I meet too many people. It's really getting overwhelming. I apologize. So.
That's all right. So I have actually been following you for quite a while on your Instagram.
Which
the
one?
Live the Fuel.
The Live the Fuel. Okay.
And then I also started following you on your Scott Mulvaney. So
you see a lot of bacon on the Scott Mulvaney one.
Yes, a lot of meat, which is not a bad thing. I'm
Eggs
a
and
big
bacon.
meat person.
Eggs and bacon.
But I started following you and saw that you've been doing a podcast for a while, and I said, you know what? Here's a guy that's, got a good message, got a good following. He's got some loyal people that follow him, and I said, I think I'd like to talk with him and see if what I talk about mixes with what his audience is always looking for. So,
well, I mean, it's kind of funny you bring it up. You were just at the end there. You said, "I hope I can connect with the audience." And for most of the people who follow me, and listen, I'm not perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. Let's put this out there right now. But I try and portray a motivational, inspirational message whenever possible. If you talk to my fiance once in a while, I get a little frustrated with life, and that happens. I think we're all human, but I try and reset that back to life is short. We really try and drive positive change for people and help them create results. I think a lot of people, including myself years ago, we do get impatient. We do get short with ourselves. We're not allowing the necessary amount of time for the positive change to come to fruition. And so I don't think you're going to have a problem with that, because from me looking at your content, what you've done, like, you've already beaten me to the punch. You've come out with a book. Let's go ahead and show that off on the Facebook Live here, guys. Check this out. He's got a book. So, My Happiness Journey, 8 Guiding Principles to a Happy Life. Yes. So make sure you check that out. Is that on Amazon and everything?
Yes, that is on Amazon.
Because everything's on Amazon now, right?
Yeah.
Everything's on Amazon?
Yeah.
You don't exist unless you're on Amazon. Just throwing it out there.
It's kind of odd, but yes.
Yeah. So I'm working on my book, and I'm excited by that, because we're tying this to the audience, right? The Live the Fuel audience. This will get shared later, and then obviously we'll be airing this podcast show with all the great audio in the next 2 weeks. I try and stay within 2 weeks of fresh content, and it's been a while since I've been able to do a fresh live podcast, actually. So, actually, since you follow us, you familiar with the local sports psychologist, Megan
Yes,
Cannon?
I follow her also.
So she and I were texting this morning and yesterday about trying to get more live. So she's got a new local office right down the road here. Nice. I got to get you guys hooked up, because sports psychology, positive reinforcement, positive coaching, motivation, inspiration. I think you actually try and talk to athletes as well as regular everyday kids too, right?
I actually coach youth basketball. So
coach.
Yes. a lot of what I do at independent facilities and organizations, I do this every basketball season too.
Really?
Like I'm always reinforcing all these positive things and not trying to, things go bad in, on the court, in life, and trying to reinforce that, mistake, it's all right, you're gonna make a mistake, get back up, get back with the team, keep doing what you're doing, and eventually you get better, and those little mistakes don't happen as often.
Yeah, I think when we're youth, because I played basketball for a little while, I tried baseball for a little while, and then I got into martial arts. And I think martial arts was like the last youth sport that I stayed with.
All right.
And no offense to my youth coaches, I think my senseis did a much better job trying to instill in us, the form, the technique, the skill set, but the patience as well. Like, yes, they want you to progress, but I have a lot of respect to really, really good dojos, really good martial arts schools who teach you that. And
right.
I think that really, from my parents' perspective, I was a very high-energy child and very impatient with my progress. And I don't think the basketball and baseball coaches when I was a kid probably were able to keep up with all of that. Mm-hmm. So did you ever come across that stuff too?
Oh, yeah. Just last winter season, I had a young man that he was harder on himself than I ever would be. And he would get so frustrated, he gets so angry with himself, and it's like, listen, just dial it back. It's okay, So not everybody, you're kind of on this level, and you got some people on your team that are on this level. You got to understand who you're playing with.
What's your average age group of the kids?
13 to 15-year-olds.
Oh man, that's like your early teens, man. Like,
yeah,
so you're in like a sweet spot.
Yes, it is. Sweet spot, and I get in the developmental age where they're starting to learn who they are and what they are, but they're also at that age because I remember being 13, 14, 15 years old, and my parents didn't know anything. I was one of those kids like, oh, don't tell me. I don't. I got to listen to you, but I don't really.
Wait, so it's not. I wasn't the only one who thought I knew everything.
No.
Any youth watching this feed, yes, you don't know everything. Sorry.
Yeah, you definitely don't. But we want to pretend that we do, and luckily, I'm able to come down to their level, so to say, with being able to how to talk to them and how to understand them.
Yeah.
So they are able to respect what I say and what we do. Even if they don't agree with it, they at least respect it and they perform. Every once in a while you get a kid that's like, and doesn't, but then the rest of the team gets on them because they're all there. They all want to get to that next level, so they bring that kid back in. So,
well, I truly believe
nice.
in that I don't know what the age-old quote or the age-old statement is, but from the coaching world or the team sports world, I highly recommend that all youth go through some form of sports. You don't have to be the most amazing athlete ever, but
no.
I think it's really important that through team sports, you do learn the importance of it's not all about you, right?
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
I can remember, I'll be honest with you, I can remember when I was a kid, one of my baseball teams, the son of the coach, right? Mm-hmm. And the son of the coach kind of you could tell he was being treated differently than everybody else.
Right.
And sometimes that's done in the right way, and sometimes that's done in the wrong way. So, long story short, the point is that the team is only as strong as the weakest link. So yes, you're always going to have elite athletes or maybe some people that are rising above the rest.
Yeah.
But it's also the team's responsibility, along with the coach, I feel, to help bring them up with you.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times, I think mistakes are made where they kind of let that kid be the bencher. Is that still a term thrown out there? Like, oh, I'm on the bench.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Because this applies in business and the professional space too, not just youth sports. This carries into adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, definitely. To be honest, I don't let any kid ever feel like they are the weak link. Like I identify which kids are strong in which skills. I got a really good dribbler, I got a really good shooter. Some kids maybe have 2-3 good skill, really good skills. But what I identify as a coach, I say, okay, this kid's weak in this, or he's weak in that. Let's get him a little extra practice on this skill. Let's make him work a little bit harder. Let's have his teammates encourage him, along with my encouragement, to let them know they can do it. I never let a kid feel like they're not worth just because they're not good at one particular thing. Because everybody has value in sports. You know, I mean, look at Dennis Rodman. We'll go to professional sports.
There we go. Dennis Rodman.
Wasn't a scorer.
Edgy athlete.
Yes. He was by no means a scorer. But he had the greatest value because of his defense and ability to rebound in the game.
Okay.
You know, so
he was on it. That's for sure.
If you can find, so if I have a kid like that, I'm like, okay, he's not my scorer, and I'm not going to be like, okay, listen, you're not going to score all the points. When you get a chance, take the shot. You know, take the shot when you got the chance. But you're a heck of a rebounder. You're a heck of a defender, and that's what your team needs. Like, I reinforce the things that they're really good on, and try and work on the things that are not.
I like that because multiple times on the show, there's a great book. Anybody watching this or listening to this in the YouTube world, the podcast world, once all this goes live, it's truly one of my top favorite books. StrengthsFinder 2.0. I think the author is it Tom McGrath? I think it's Tom McGrath.
Yeah.
So you've used it.
Oh, I've read. Oh, yeah.
I use it with my clients because I think I did that book, God, must be almost 5 years ago now. But the whole point of the book is you have to buy it. You can't like go on Amazon. Sometimes you find it used. You need it new. There's your hack because they give you a special code in the book. It's a one-time use code, and it gets you access to the website and all of their algorithms, all the questions you have to answer. But long story short, it spits out your top 5 strengths. And whether I think this is something that needs to be taught down in the youth more from what you're hinting on here, right? Because throughout life we realize, wait a minute, there's just things that are just naturally are going to be the weaknesses, but there's these things that you bring to the table that nobody else brings. And if you could find out about that sooner and amplify those strengths, that's what you lead with. Because then you as a coach, for example, or a manager or an owner of a business can say, great, these are your natural strengths. Well, then why am I sticking them in this position if they're naturally going to flow better in this position? So have you ever used like content like the StrengthsFinder with youth at all yet, or is that more of an adult type thing?
I haven't really. I mean, I use it as a coach to identify kids' strengths and where they're weak, but I have not actually used it in any speaking platforms with kids. Most of my speaking, when I go out to youth organizations or even mental health facilities, like outpatient mental health facilities, I'm telling them about my story. Things that are, what this book is about. So I'm telling them that and how I fought back against those things.
Obviously we want to transition into that because there's always a backstory behind every guest co-host, and this is actually a good segue because I at least wanted people to get at least a little snippet of where are you at today, what are you doing today. So clearly we hit on the youth sports. I do want to dig back into some of the mental health component because I want to get you connected with Dr. Megan Cannon, who's our regular sports psychologist. I think you guys could connect up well on this. But let's go ahead and get into that. Like, why the book, man? Like, I'm learning this now that I've been talking about writing a book for 2 years, and it's been in my head for a long time. And then you keep talking about it, you talk about it, you put it aside. I'm sure you got some stories here. So it's like, what finally made you take action and say, dude, it's time to put out the book? What's the backstory behind it?
All right, so, I mean, in this, for everybody out there in Facebook land watching, you all have a book inside you.
I hear
what
that
that
often.
book is going to be, nobody knows but you. But you all have a book inside you. In high school, in that, English, I absolutely dreaded English class. Like, I am not a writer.
I also dreaded English class. But then for some reason, everything English related in college, I crushed it. I excelled in math in high school and then crushed. I don't get it. It flipped. It completely flipped. But keep going.
But, so the whole writing a book thing, never thought it because I was like, you know what, regular college is not for me. A 2-year, 4-year degree at community college, going on regular college, that's not me. Like, I want to go to school, I want to get a degree, and I don't want to have to write papers because I don't like writing. I'm not a grammar person. I'm not, punctuate.
It was not one of your strengths.
No, definitely not one of my strengths. But then when I went through what I went through, realized that my experience is just talking about them isn't really enough. Going out, talking about it, encouraging other people that, what you're going through is horrible.
Let's pause on that. Like, when did you start going out and talking about it? Since you just kind of segued into that real quick.
Sorry.
Like, how long ago was that?
Just I started going out to facilities about 2015.
Okay, so about 3 years now.
Yeah, about 3 years now I've been doing that.
Okay.
So, doing that and seeing how that was impactful to people that were going through some hard times in their lives, I said, I have to put this into an actual physical form. Like, I need to be able to reach more people, because you're only going to reach so many people through YouTube, through speaking, through Facebook, all these different social media avenues and live things. What's another way that I can reach them? So I said, I got to write a book.
Okay.
And that was scary. That was
I'm with
that
you.
was scary.
I'm with you.
Because
you got to embrace your fears. You got to embrace your fears. It's part of life.
very much so. And I said, well, how do I even start? Like, how do I start this? And I opened my computer up and said, okay, just write. Just start writing. Put something on paper or on the computer that's the beginning.
You got me beat, dude. I went out and bought like the nice journals. This is like 3 years ago. I had all the nice journals, and then I wrote like 2 pages, and then stopped. Like I was on a business trip, and then didn't write it again. And then I still have it. It's sitting on my desk right now.
Okay.
So it's funny how like you set the goals, you start doing stuff, and then depending on where you're at, it's like, do I really want to? Like, were you able to keep going from there? Or did you hit the pauses?
I hit a lot of pauses. I'll be honest.
Let's keep it real,
we hit
people.
pauses.
Let's keep it real.
I did. I hit a lot of pauses. I would set goals. I'd be like, okay, my goal is write a paragraph a week. So I do that for maybe a month, and then let life get in the way.
Did you ever do a word count? Like, what's a paragraph? You didn't care.
Just a
You
thought.
just want to visually see the paragraph?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a
All
paragraph. I say, well, whatever my thought is, get that thought on, and that'll be like a paragraph. Or maybe it's just 6-7 sentences. Whatever it is, try and get it on. I tried to try and do a paragraph. I thought a paragraph was my goal.
So a common statement I say on the podcast over the past few months, I've been coming out more and more. Maybe it's the fitness background.
Mm-hmm.
You're a coach. Is you started putting in the reps.
Yeah.
Clearly a short cycle, right? You're not doing a lot, but you started at least saying, great, maybe it's just a paragraph before you even get to a page, before you even get to a chapter. I like this. That's why I want to pause on these things. These are important life tips.
Yeah, and that's a very cool. When you're doing something, you got to give yourself little incremental pieces to achieve, because when you achieve those little things, then achieving this huge goal that you have, like my huge goal was to completely finish the book. I was able to do that much easier than if I would have said, okay, sit down and write a chapter. That would have been daunting.
No, I can't do that. I mean, no, I can do that now, but we'll get into that later. But I mean, I'll throw some little tips in on that. But yeah, no, I was not completing a full chapter.
Yeah. So that was my goal initially. I'd hit a pause. Life would get in the way, family things, whatever it may be.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd be like, I haven't written in like 2 weeks. What the heck? So I'd redo the same goal. Okay, get back into it. Get these sentences. Get this paragraph in.
How did you know that you didn't write like just these are little things I'm hearing, like in 2 weeks? Like, did you have any kind of like signs or any kind of Post-its or anything to remind you, like when you walk into your office? Like me, I've got 3 different colors of Post-it tabs, but like one of them, I only have one color specifically dedicated to the book. That way, when I come back into my office, if I haven't done anything with the book in a while and I happen to look up at my to-do list, and I have a dry erase board and stuff, but I'll put that one Post-it up there. It's like, oh, that hot pink one. You got to do some writing, do some book work. So
the funny thing, that the way that my mind works is I constantly think about the things that I should be doing, and then when I don't do them, it eats at me a little bit.
Oh, so like a self-indulged guilt trip or something?
Yeah, I kind of guilt myself into doing things at times. It's not a bad thing, but it's not really the best thing. It would be better if I was much more organized as far as keeping track. Like, okay, you wrote it here, but I could always go back too, because anytime I opened up my laptop, it had a date in which the last time I accessed like that file. Okay. Like my MacBook, the way that I have my Pages program set up, that it'll tell me the last time I was in there, so I can see.
Oh, wow.
So
see, I'm a Windows guy still, so I don't have these Mac features. So, but that's cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a big Mac person.
Okay, all right. Very creative people use Macs. It's a thing. So and I always keep a mental log. Like for some reason, that's just the way my mind works. I mentally log things that I'm working on or doing. So I always was able to keep track of that. So I would go away for 2 weeks, and it would eat at me. Like, you're not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? And then your brain comes into motion, and you start making excuses for, well, I had this to do, and I had this to do. I don't have the time. And I would fight that. So for about probably a good year, I was fighting myself on writing sentences, getting a paragraph in. And then last year, I made an ultimate goal.
I said, okay, end of the year.
Hashtag ultimate goal. You gotta have a hashtag, but you don't exist.
Yeah.
We're gonna use that.
But yeah, I set a definitive ultimate goal. I said, end of the year, you gotta have it completed. You gotta have it ready for the next year.
So you hard-lined it.
Yes.
Okay.
I drew a hard line in the sand and said, if I don't have it done by then,
and that's let's date this. That's end of 2017,
yes.
right? Because people, this is evergreen content. Once this podcast goes up, like people will be able to hear this 2 years from now. So
yeah. So end of 2017, I had to have it done.
Okay.
And then when I set that date, I did not waver from getting onto my laptop and putting something on at least, I was almost on there a daily basis, but every week I made sure that I was on there. And how far did I get? Okay, I got this much more to write.
Yeah.
How hard do I have to push myself to get to this deadline? And I actually ended up finishing early. I finished 2 weeks early.
Well, you set a hard line.
Yeah.
Something I've found with a lot of overachievers, especially athletic-minded people, is that when you hardline a goal, more often than not, you actually will fight the procrastination factor, and then like you're going to hustle and you're going to get that done. And that's awesome you did it for yourself. Like this was actually your goal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have our goals, but sometimes like we're doing it for other people.
Yeah.
And this is a great tip though for like setting goals for yourself and hardlining it, and then giving yourself that reward of like, dude, I got done 2 weeks ahead of schedule, or maybe a month ahead of schedule, because then that's more like positive feelings, more happiness.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. It was, when I finished that, I talked to my office, I said, I'm done. I finished it. You know, I can't believe it. I actually have it all the way done. Yeah. And then I said, oh, what do I got to do now?
I was gonna say, did you? Because I'm gonna try and self-publish. So did you self-publish?
Yes, I did. I did it right through. Well, Amazon they've kind of got rid of the company that they do. It was CreateSpace. They kind of sucked it into KDP Publishing, which is their Kindle direct publishing now.
Yeah.
So that's how they do it. But yeah, I went right through Amazon.
Platform, because I'm in a private like authors coaching community that's helping me accelerate my timeline. It was a 90-day program. So
all right.
Yeah, I set some hardline goals. Like literally, I already have 25,000 words done.
All right.
So I don't know how many. They told me like, 18 to 25, you're good. You could stop if you wanted to. And I'm like, nah. Let me finish like 2 more chapters, and then because I still have to go back and edit.
Right.
I mean, this podcast is not necessarily about editing and authoring, but that's another whole process you have to go through. But
yeah.
I do love this. So you did. Is this the whole concept where when you launch on Amazon, it's the on-demand thing? So when people buy, it literally gets printed? Or so there's no, like, you're not having to, this is great hack people who are afraid to write a book. The old way of traditional publishing, you got to pay for so many books and everything else. But in your case, these were, as people buy them and order them, they're being printed on demand, right?
Yep, they're printed as they get ordered. It's available on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes & Nobles, other third-party vendors.
Nice.
And it's all purchase, they print it, and then they ship it.
What's the average timeline to turn around? Like if I went on Amazon now.
They can get it on Prime.
Hint, go on Amazon now. Okay. Here, we'll give you some facial recognition again. There you go. My happiness journey. Okay. So get on Amazon. But so if I order that today or they order it today, how long till they get it?
If they have Prime, they can get it in 2 days.
That thing's getting printed. Like, did they tell you they got to have some on standby then or something, right? No?
They also when I read everything, it says print to ship.
Dude, I'm gonna order extra copies of your book because I'm doing this system for my book. So I gotta see. I'm a test. I have to test everything. So I'm gonna get extra copies of the book and give them to some of my. I have a couple of like really close local followers. Shout out to the Strausser Project, and shout out to Endurance. That's right, Endurance Wood. Get some Endurance Wood from my boy James. We'll tag these guys in the show because they're locals, just like Jeremy is, and they're both hustling the side hustles while they work for their companies. So, but anyway, one guy's like an amazing like craftsman of wood. I mean, which is funny. He's not the Endurance Wood guy, and then the Endurance Wood guy, he's actually an engineer. So it's interesting. I was like, I need to get those two. Those two should just come together. You guys should just come together and start a business, okay? Just there's a little hint. There's a little coaching tip. Anyway, back to you. So why did you title it My Happiness Journey then? Was that title already in place as you were writing the book, or did that come later?
No, I actually had the beginning title, not the subtitle, but I had the beginning title, My Happiness Journey, from the beginning.
Okay. That's kind of me too. I already have a title, so
I look at life as a journey, and we all have one. We're all living that journey every day. And mine was trying to find happiness through some of the adversity that I had faced. And I'm still on that journey. That journey hasn't ended. I'm still looking for ways to increase not only my happiness, but the happiness of my kids, the happiness of my wife, bringing happiness and joy into other people's lives. So
that's something that I have had to learn in the past few years, that I always try and give back to others. I do a lot of charity work, but you just hinted at the wife and the kids, right? Mm-hmm. We're not having kids. My fiance and I have figured out that we are going to be the selfish people. Some people call it that. But we've created the freedom so I can do more for others in other areas by not becoming parents. Yeah. We're just going to be the super cool aunts and uncles. Because that way when the kids get annoying, I can give them back. Yeah. I love that idea.
And you know what?
But we can still give back and be cool aunts and uncles.
Right. You can give back, you can be cool aunts and uncles, you can hype them up on sugar or whatever. You know,
no, anti-sugar. No sugar.
Okay.
It's part of my brand. No sugar, people.
Yes.
Stop it.
But, that's what the non-anti-sugar aunts and uncles. But, and I think that's great. Everybody has their own thing that this is me. And wife and kids was always in my picture.
Yeah, we have different journeys.
It's not in everybody's picture. Yeah, and that's good, because we should find our own path, and we should.
Back to your point, though, I was a bachelor for many, many years.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And as my fiance refers to it as, the quote was, "Nobody trained me." Really, that's a statement that you ladies sometimes use when you come across guys like me.
I hear that all the time.
Oh, you still hear that? There you go. Married guy with kids still hears that.
Not from my wife, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, from others. Interesting.
Yes, from others.
We'll have to talk about that off the line.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, I was not very well trained. I had not been in a lot of relationships in my life. I spent many, many years being single and a bachelor. So yes, she's been training me, and I think I'm getting better at it, because I'm still engaged, and we're getting married next year. Yeah, so I think I'm moving in the right direction.
It's definitely progress.
Yeah. But to your point, it's like right now, we found out our dog has cancer. And she's a veterinary doctor, so she knows. And we got some recent good news. I'm not going to get into it, but there's still going to be some stuff we have to do. Right. But Calvin, the coonhound, is basically our kid, right? Mm-hmm. So I told her point blank, I'm like, whatever we got to do. I was like, if you want to spend money to try and save him and get a couple more years, I don't care. I can always make more money. Mm-hmm. I never would have said that years ago.
Right.
It was like an eye-opening thought in the past 2 weeks, and I'm intrigued to see what your thoughts are on that, because it's like you've created other life. I mean, you and your wife have brought children into this world, and it's like I'm getting a chill thinking about it, besides the fact that it's kind of cold out today. But it's, what do you think about that? Like, when you hear stuff like that, with what you've done and what you've created, and you being a parent, it's like you finally get this epiphany where it's like, dude, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
And I've done that through charity work, but this was different.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we have 2 cats.
Okay.
So from the loving animals and stuff, like, it's funny because I will curse my cats, because cats my cats,
I don't own cats.
They leave these things called hairballs wherever they decide to put them.
So do dogs.
So
don't they eat them and then they cough them up later or something too?
No, not cats. No, at least not ours. Thank goodness.
Okay,
that would be really kind of.
Well, you always hear about the whole cat hacking a hairball thing because they lick themselves so much.
Yes,
it's a thing.
But so at times I curse my cats, but I also don't want to see them go. My kids love these animals, and as a parent, going to how you're experiencing with your dog, Calvin the coonhound. You said,
Calvin
right?
the coonhound. Yeah.
Okay, so there is nothing that I wouldn't do for my kids. There's nothing that I wouldn't sacrifice for them. There are sacrifices I'm making in my life to give them a better life and not to say that I had a bad life, but something different than I had. So it's one of those things where, regardless of it's a human life and an animal's life, once you make that connection, there's nothing you won't do for them, because their lives are almost more important than yours.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, but because you want to be around for them, but they almost
no.
become more important.
Well, also, if you ever meet my fiance, she'll tell you, like, oh yeah, Calvin comes first. I mean, he was there first. I came second.
Well, yeah,
but it is a cool epiphany to get to that place, and it's very eye-opening, and I think it's emotionally opening. It flips a whole different mental trigger.
Oh yeah, when my kids hurt, mentally or physically, it's hard. It takes a toll on me and my wife.
Yeah.
Because we don't want them to feel pain. We know they have to, but
Yeah,
we don't want them
That's
to.
the power of pets as well. Is they want you can tell they know when you're not happy or you're upset. Like he's much more normally he's just like leave me alone. But then if he could tell that she's upset, he's right there.
Right.
Like he cuddles, and he doesn't normally cuddle. He's a 10-year-old coonhound, 90 pounds. So trust me, that's not his style. He's like, dude, just let me do my thing, man. But Calvin the Bachelor all of a sudden becomes Calvin the Cuddler. So anyway, like that's like you guys with your kids. Like, but then there's the emotional drain from that because there is an energy transfer happening. I think you want to call it a healing process or whatever it is, right? You guys are trying to draw the pain away from the kids, which then in turn drains you guys.
Yeah.
But that's part of the game.
It is, and that's why I find it so important that as parents we have our own outlets. I have coaching. I have
Here's a life
speaking.
hack, people. I'm hearing it.
Okay, so as a parent, we want to give everything to our kids. And it is draining. But you have to have those times. Like I learned from this. I cannot remember the book. I'm horrible at remembering book names. But there was a book I read about marriage and relationships and the importance of having a date night after you have kids.
Oh,
because it recharges you. It allows you to remember why you married this person kind of in the first place.
Okay.
And it's recharging. The times that me and my wife have done it, we laugh, we smile, because there's no worry about how do we, getting my 2-year-old into the seat and having him not freak out because he doesn't want to sit in the high chair, or my 7-year-old.
You're just reinforcing why we're not having kids. I'm just saying, live on Facebook, don't care. I'm like, but yeah, we keep going.
My 7-year-old fighting us with, I want to have mac and cheese, and I don't want her to have mac and cheese, so it becomes a fight with that. It's just us two adults enjoying our life.
Mac and cheese is not dinner, people. It's an accessory.
So, it's refreshing, and it gets you back from that mental drain of the kids back to being able to feel recharged, be able to fight them head on, and take away any pain or suffering that they feel, and not continue to drain.
It's funny because I've realized that too. It's even though we don't have kids, but this whole transition with Calvin has been draining. Right. Emotionally, more for her than it is for me, but then I'm trying to be there as well and support all of that. And even I think I felt a little frustration bubble up, even though I felt guilty about it, but it's like, well, maybe we're not as attentive to each other in our normal way because we're distracted by this.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to be there, let her work through it, etc. So it's interesting. It's very, psychotherapy, whatever you want to talk about it, but the point is that I've kind of hinted a couple times, like, hey, let's try and work in a date night or something for us. Because I'm not saying distract from that, but yeah, take a break from it. Like, it's you're on all the time. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing. Like, you're go, on all the time, parent, super mom, super dad. Then it's like, okay, God, like, what about your love for each other, too?
Mental breaks are important.
Okay.
Absolutely important to your mental health, because I look at it this way: how can I take care of my kids if I am mentally drained? I'm at a point where I'm struggling to take care of myself mentally.
Yeah.
How am I going to take care of my kids?
And how many parents do that? A lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've watched it through friends and then sometimes, unfortunately, it does reach a breaking point, and it should never go that far. It's like, guys, like, remind yourselves that if you're trying to put out the best of you for your kids, your friends, your company, whatever, it's like, if you're not taking care of yourself and portraying a healthy lifestyle, how the hell are other people supposed to benefit from you?
Yeah.
Because if you're just running at a half empty all the time, or even half full all the time, you're not giving your best self at all.
Yeah. If you're at a point where everything that your kid does is annoying or frustrating you, you're probably time for a mental break.
Okay. So that's not normal. Well, I mean, it is normal, but yeah, if you're just pissed off all the time, it's probably not a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
time for a date night.
Yeah.
Maybe go to the shooting range if you're into guns, or maybe go do some paintball. I don't know.
Find some me time. If you're a single parent, find some me time. If you're a happily married couple, find some we time.
Yeah.
Some time that is just dedicated to you.
Well, you follow the show. You know, another local regular co-host. Shout out to Erin Sparrold, sports nutritionist. Check her out. But she's regular on every month. Mm-hmm. She's a single mom, like super mom. But she's also a sports nutritionist. She has her own business. So she's got to build her brand, build her customers' health and fitness, be the super mom.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, you follow her on Instagram, she's always at the gym. It's part of her brand and her business, but thank God she has that, because she needs that exercise outlet. She needs to fuel her body and her mind right with the right nutrition. Tying it all together, guys, like fuel your body right, take the right breaks, give yourself some me time, or your we. I like that, the we time. Me and we, like that. So now, you didn't always know all this stuff, though.
No.
Let's be real. You didn't always know all this stuff. Even before the book, right? Because you said, I'm going to tie this back, guys. You dropped a hint a couple of times that through the struggle you went through.
Yeah.
Is this pre-family?
This is pre-family and family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that, if you're okay with it, I want to make sure this comes into the show so people understand some of that backstory, to get people kind of reinvigorated at this point in the show, because we're halfway through the show. It's like, guys, like, there's always a backstory. So why... Part of that vulnerability, right? You didn't always want to share this stuff, but then through speaking, right? We all have ashamed until we build that ability to embrace vulnerability. I've talked a lot about this on the show with myself, and it's helped me grow closer with my fiance. Mm-hmm. I talked a couple times on the show a while ago, real quick. It's like it literally led to a breakup because my head was so far up my butt. Just want to leave it there.
We do this at times.
Back to you. Us guys are good at it. I'm like a poster child of that. So, but let's get into your story there. Why did you struggle, man? Like, what was up?
Well, and a lot of my struggle didn't have anything to do with what I was doing. It had to do with what was going on in my family.
Okay, now when you say my family,
yes, this
is pre-kids. This is
pre-kids. This is when I was a kid.
Family.
This was when I was a kid.
Okay, your upbringing, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
So, my dad. I'll never say anything bad about my dad. You know, my dad was always there. But when I was 8 years old, my parents got divorced.
Okay.
And that's pretty normal. That happens pretty often.
The sad part is that has gotten pretty normal.
Yeah.
I try and recommend people do it younger for the kids, but just me. And I'm not a professional, but I hear that out there from professionals.
And my oldest daughter, I have a 20-year-old daughter.
Okay. You have a 20-year-old daughter?
Yes, I do.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Look at you. All right. I did not expect that.
Yeah, father at 20.
All right.
Not exactly something I planned on doing, but hey, I stepped up and I said...
Wait, we're both 41 then?
I'm 40.
Okay, I got you by a year.
You got me by a year.
Not that it's a competition at all.
But yeah, so... because it didn't work out between my oldest daughter and her. But we split up very early. She was a year and a half when we split up. But going back
it's easier for the kids to adapt.
Yes. But when I was a kid, 8 years old, my parents got divorced. And what happens with a lot of divorced parents is they stay close, usually. You know, that way you can see both parents on a consistent basis.
Yep.
My mom moved out to Washington.
Oh, that's like the other side of the country.
Yeah. We were
and keep
taken
going.
away.
I want to check on our live feed, make sure everything's still going good. But keep telling the story.
Yeah. So me and my brother, my younger brother, we moved with my mom out to Washington, and you know, that was kind of the start of a very weird journey in childhood, so to say. Because we didn't see my dad for 2 years. So eventually became a point where my mom needed to send us to live with my dad, but promised to bring us back to live with her again. But that didn't happen. So that's where kind of things got very different in my life, because I had a stepmom then, because my dad got remarried.
Okay.
And I was introduced to her when I first came back here to live here in...
How old were you at that time?
10.
Okay.
Almost 10. Yeah, it was right before my 10th birthday. And so that was, 10 take 30 years off.
Would you say this is like, again, we're not psychologists or psychiatrists, but would you say that this is was there any kind of psychological torture if you look back? Okay.
Oh yeah, when I look back on it,
I'm hearing like tug of wars going on.
Oh yeah, when I look back on it, not having my biological mother part of my everyday life, or even a consistent part of my life, weighed heavily on me, because I have this woman who I absolutely love and cherish now. I had my brother, who is just as close to me as my biological brother, but I didn't want him to be part of my life. So it was a constant internal struggle. At
that time, you didn't want them to be.
Right, I didn't want them to be, yes. As a kid, I didn't want them to be. Now, I love you guys through and through. Wouldn't replace you with anybody. But at that time, as a kid, I didn't want them to be part of my life, because all I wanted was my mom and my dad to be together. And I think that's very common for kids. They don't want to have separated parents.
No, because you're that innocent mind. You just want everybody to get along, be happy, and be good with each other. I get it. Yeah.
So, in the fairy tale world, my stepmother was the evil queen. My brother was this horrible stepbrother. And
I like this. We're kind of putting together a cinematic experience here. This is the future movie for the book or something. So,
but and I had a lot of anger issues, and that stemmed from being disappointed, because while phone calls are great, but when you promise stuff to kids at an early age and you break those promises as a parent, it stings.
Some
and it
scars,
hurts.
some scars.
So it scars you. And I had a lot of scars, had a lot of disappointment in life, a lot of self-worth problems, because I didn't value myself, because I didn't feel valued and loved by my mom, who, as a kid, that's the one person that, besides our dad, that we feel should always love us and always be there for us.
I agree with that.
So, a lot of scars, a lot of anger issues, and it used to come out. I used to have a really, really bad temper. And not that I got in a lot of physical fights, but it acted out. And, you ask my parents.
You get frustrated.
If you ask my parents, I was never a bad kid. But sports helped, because I could let that anger out on the football field or on the basketball court. I could let that frustration kind of come out in a positive way. But, after kind of overcoming the pains and the struggles and not having her part of my life, I got depressed. I hit a depression wall. And this was
well, how old were you?
This is post family. This is now we're talking about after I've been married for 3 years now.
Oh, full blown depression didn't kick in until adulthood.
Yeah, full blown.
Is it because do you feel it was like unrecognized, or it had just stayed away and it was never, I guess, brought to the forefront? Like, why do you think it waited so long to manifest?
To manifest to that degree, I just never dealt.
Okay. So it just kept building up.
Yeah, it just built up. So I always thought it was kind of weak in my own mind to deal with emotions, talk to people about the way you feel.
Dude, we talk about this all the time. I'm glad you're bringing this up. Like, I had to pause on this. Like, you now, me now. If guys are seeing this, real men will embrace their emotions, will need to show strength through vulnerability. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I don't think it's weak to show emotion there at all.
There we go. All right. Let's make sure we got that out there quick while you continue your story.
I will cry at a good movie.
There we go. Every once in a while I've done it. Kristen looks at me and she's like, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, "Sorry, it struck a nerve. It doesn't mean you're weak." And it's not like you do. Now, if you're walking around crying all the time, you might have a problem. Just saying. But
that could be some other thing. Yes,
whole different thing going on.
But yeah, you put a movie on about families and something really like heart tugging. Yeah, I'm gonna cry.
Now you see,
that's just me.
The last movie that really made me cry is because me being a former hotshot out west while in firefighting, they finally made a movie about the fall of '19 called Only the Brave. Dude, she was crying too, but we went and saw it in the theater, and I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to go and watch it because I wasn't sure how I was going to react. That was straight up, like, I was, like, breathing funny, trying to, like, choke back the tears because it was a major loss of life. But see, to your point, things are going to manifest differently for every person, and it's important to just let it go and let it out and channel that energy.
Yeah. So from not really addressing, and I had made some steps. Like at one point in time when I was 27, I called my mom and I kind of laid it all on the table and said, this is how you made me feel. This is why I felt that way. And that helped. But
did she appreciate it, or did she take offense to it? Like, if you don't mind me asking, I mean,
no. She was hurt.
Yeah.
But like a lot of people, we try to excuse why things happened away instead of just. A lot of us don't own things.
Yeah.
So she did a little bit of that, and at that time, because I was not as well educated, self-educated, so to say, I accepted that. But now I know the difference, after doing some personal development, self-education, that
just reps, put in time.
Yeah, exactly. Put in time, put in reps. But when I got to be 35 and, being 3 years married, having a second child, my middle child was 2.
Wow.
And
you already got, now 20. But you already got the 20 out there.
Yeah,
so.
she was 15 at that time, my oldest. I hit a wall because I let life stress hit me. And these are the very interesting things, everybody. Buying a house, very stressful situation, just the process. But what a lot of people don't do, and I did not realize this, is there's a big stress of leaving a place if you've been there for a while. Because now you're leaving memories, you're leaving things that have accomplished in that house.
I love your pointing on that because I studied psychology when I went back to college and when I was doing my marketing degree. And that's one thing that always stood from one of the professors. They clarified. They said, listen, there's 3 of the most stressful things. You're fine. You guys, your kids are fine. You're good. So we're hanging outside, guys. Like, this is live. We're at the, people coming by. You have really good microphones here. Those kids won't even show up on these. Anyway, the funny thing is that I don't think about it until people like you bring this up, but 3 of the most stressful things that a human being can experience in their life, on average, is going to be relocation, moving, a major shift in relationships like marriage or divorce, or, again, back to emotional energy again, or loss is going to be death, right? Those are 3 of the top most emotionally traumatic things that will probably occur in your life. There's many other things that will still possibly scar you or bring you trauma, but those are the powerful ones. And I always hear, when I hear people going through 2 or 3 of them at the same time, holy crap. Anybody who can get through all of that at one time, they're superhuman. But I'm glad you're bringing this up because people think, oh, I'm buying a house, yay, and I'm moving, yay, but there's still as you're bringing in here some emotional energy there.
Oh, yeah, there's a big part of emotional energy and something that I had not planned for. So, you're doing your daily thing at work. I was changing positions at work, so I was getting prepared for that.
Career shift too.
There you
go. We're piling it on.
So there's that stress. There's the stress of making sure all your paperwork's done, and then there's the emotional part that wasn't factored in. The memories that you built, the things that have happened in the house. I mean, that was the house, the apartment that we brought our middle child into. So we brought her home. That we made that life for.
So you didn't think that was going to affect you at all?
No, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
didn't even think about it.
Because you guys were just on like momentum. Like, hey, we're moving into a new house. You're not allowing any time to think about those things. Yeah. You're just moving forward.
Yeah, you try and deal with the stress, but you forget about the emotional portion, and that's really what broke me because. You have 2 choices. I feel you have 2 choices when it comes to stress and emotions. You can either address them and deal with them, or you can let them build up and you'll break.
How many of us allow them to build up and then break?
Yeah.
So. And
that's what happened. So I broke because that emotional part that was attached to all the physical, all the stress of these things, brought back all the things that I hadn't dealt with as a child.
So this is if I in my head right now. What popped in my head when you said this was I'm picturing a reservoir with a dam. I'm actually picturing the dam out in Nevada when I went out to Vegas and hiked out there, and it was like, oh, you see the dam holding back a massive amount of water, and it's like that's what was you, man. Like you were full to the brim, man. There wasn't anything else you could take in.
I was a blubbering mess. And it happened at work. Like,
oh, you cracked at work?
I cracked at work.
Wow.
Yep. I cracked at work, and
so nobody was ready for that. You weren't ready for that.
Oh, absolutely not. I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, why can I not even formulate a physical sentence without fumbling over my words and starting to cry?
Wow.
Considering I wasn't sad about anything, but
No.
I really was. Like, behind the scenes, my mind was like,
Because you have
time to
years,
deal.
you have years of unaddressed stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, just piled up, and so the floodgates were wide open, and you didn't know how to even deal with it.
Nope. I
Wow.
had no idea, because as much as my parents wanted to put us in counseling, we rejected that idea as kids. There's nothing wrong with us, you know.
Because people are afraid of what other people may think.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we're a perfect family. You don't have a problem. Really? That's your way of addressing a possible issue? Is like, what if there's something there?
Yeah. So as kids, we didn't want to do it because it was inconvenience. All we wanted to do was play. All we wanted to do was have fun. So to have to go talk when we felt we didn't have any emotional problems or anything going on that we had to deal with, anger issues like I had, manifested itself at 35 and cracked me. And for 2 years, I had to figure out how to fight back, how to reclaim my life, because.
And this is all still pre-book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all before the book.
Okay.
I didn't write the book until I was well, I shouldn't say fixed. I hate to use that term, but until I was to a point where
You're ready.
I was ready to put that kind of story out there, put it in print,
Well,
and
to be fair, this
feel
is
good about
this is a lifelong process. Like,
Yeah.
you never stop. I think ever really like I've moved past things once I've addressed them, but you never truly forget them. I don't believe in living in the past. I always believe in living in the forward. But for what you're telling us today is that you still got to address them,
Yeah.
so you can move beyond them. But now you can look back on these things as fuel for your fire,
Yeah.
and use them in your speaking engagements and put them into a book.
Yeah.
Right.
absolutely,
So,
and without having any shame about it.
so it took you 2 years to get past the shame component.
Yeah. To
Okay.
get past that shame, get past the fact that there was something wrong with me. Going to a counselor helped.
Okay.
I did sessions with a
Talking
counselor.
through it, yeah.
Yep. Figuring out, well, what caused me to feel this way? What caused me to not be able to have an understanding of my life?
But
and
wait,
this-
Jeremy. So wait, hold on. So I can't just use my significant other as my counselor?
That would be great. I would not suggest it.
Yeah.
A good ear. You know, my wife was very supportive, very scared.
Yeah.
Because she
she
had
loved
always
you.
seen the good side of me.
Yeah.
You know, she had never seen that dark side where I was just an emotional mess. But she was a good person to be able to talk to, because she was very willing to listen and just not say anything.
Which is part of the equation, but she can't save you by
Right.
herself.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where the counselor came in. Because even though the counselor didn't say much of anything, it was
They were there to
that
listen.
freedom to not hold anything back and not be afraid of being made to feel like your problem's insignificant, or that I can't think of the word all of a sudden that I want to use.
Well, when I'm picturing you in these sessions, I'm just like, I see you as you get more comfortable, you get more vulnerable, you get more transparent with yourself. You reach that safe haven, that safe place to be able to speak and share anything you want. That's the point of, hey, if you need a counselor, suck it up and just go. Like, that's the whole point, is having a safe haven. Or you just, I don't know, put yourself in a closet and just talk to yourself. You can do that too, but I don't know about that.
That wouldn't have worked for me.
That
no.
might be a little weird. That might be a little weird.
But yeah, being able to talk to a counselor was, I mean, by no means was I fixed.
No.
But
Part of putting,
allowed
back
me
to my point, putting in the reps. You had to start putting in the healing reps, and you didn't know how those were going to happen yet, but let's at least try to counsel, right?
And I had a very supportive. I've always had a very supportive family. They have always been there for me. And it's funny, my stepbrother Chris. Hey Chris, just in case you're catching this.
Oh, he will be. This is evergreen. The video's never going to go down. So if he's not catching it now, you're going to catch it soon. So.
But my brother Chris was always the adventurous type in business and stuff like that. Shout out to his business. He runs a coach bus company, Epic Tours. So
Oh, sweet. Where's that at?
That is out. Home base is in Emmaus right now.
Oh, it's here?
Yeah, it's local.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
So charter bus company, Epic Tours. Check it out. Good company.
Like, what, does he go all over the place?
Yep.
Okay.
You call him.
So when you say he's more adventurous, meaning that Like he's a risk taker.
Yes.
He's willing to become that entrepreneur. And,
Yes.
And, okay.
And-
That's not an easy step. Trust me, I know.
And before he has been doing this, very successful so far with it, and I'm very proud of him. He was very big into the network marketing scene, and
I've dabbled in it. Yeah.
he introduced me to that. Finally got me to say, okay, let's try it. And that's where a big shift started to happen, because I started to do personal development,
There you
which
go.
allowed me to open up ideas and thoughts of how can I work on myself and feel good about myself on a daily basis.
I got to pause on that. There's a lot of people when he just gave you a really funny thing. Listen, the old world of MLMs and the new terminology and the new structure of network marketing, it's not for everybody. All right, let me put it right out there. But I will say, when you find a great company, because I have one on the side too, as one of my side incomes, is when you find the right company. Yes, the products need to stand true. They need to be great quality and yada yada yada. But I've always said this: when you find the right company, it's actually a professional development company that happens to have great products.
Yes.
And like you actually find yourself growing and putting in the reps to grow yourself, to build yourself stronger, to have the confidence to maybe consider building the business on the side. Maybe you never succeed with that business and it crashes and burns. But you got to take the good out of everything in life. And the one thing that I appreciated about the company that I've worked with for 8 years is that, wow, if I ever need access to great personal professional development content, it's there. They've invested in amazing speakers, amazing research, amazing trainings. So I want to give a shout out to that, because not for one company or the other, but if you find the right ones, that's what they care about the most.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. It's like free personal and professional development, right?
If it's push our products,
Yeah.
that's not so good.
There's a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
So I had to pause on that because
No,
I love
no.
the fact that that's part of your equation.
Yeah,
So
that has become a big factor in my personal growth and allowing me to have more
big part of
happiness
mine
in
too.
life.
Yeah.
So he got me started on that path, and then I started doing some research. Found Jim Rohn. Love Jim Rohn. Big Jim Rohn fan.
Classic quote from Jim
Yes.
Rohn: "We are the product of the 5 people we spend the most time with." Think about that, people. What's your inner circle? Actually, that was my recent article that just got published in the local network magazine.
Oh,
I
very
channeled
nice.
that quote into, I actually called it your inner circle of health. Who are the people influencing your health around you? Something to think about too. So
Yeah, we need an inner circle for pretty much every aspect of our life.
yeah, but that guy, man, that guy left a huge footprint in the world.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy was very good with his content.
Yeah, and then I found Eric Thomas, and
Newer age guy.
yes, newer age guy, and
What's his slogan? It's isn't he like not a preacher, but he's like, I forget his style, but he's out there, man.
Oh, yeah,
Eric
he's-
is just boom.
yeah, he's very, very energetic, very
We'll
in your
link him
face.
in the show notes for this episode, guys, when I release him on livethefuel.com. These people we're talking about, Jim Rohn, Eric Thomas, definitely people worth looking at. So
Oh, absolutely. And I'll never forget, like, I'm sitting at my kitchen table and up on my laptop, got the video going, because he had just spoken at a event that my brother had been at, and he's like, dude, you gotta check him out. I'm like, okay, I'll check him out. Found a 6 minute video, and it was titled, I Can, I Will, I Must.
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, it's good.
Changed my life.
It's good.
It absolutely changed
His
my
energy in
perspective.
his energy in that was off the hook.
Yeah.
Off the hook.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
actually, we're going to link that YouTube video. Shout out to my VA. When you listen to this and you do the show notes, make sure we link the YouTube video. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's powerful, guys. So
And that moment, like there's a moment in everybody's life, good or bad moments, that change your perception, change the way you feel about yourself, change the way you look at life, and that was my moment. In the next 6 months, every day got better. Every day got better from that point on, because I realized what I was really meant to do, and that was to use my voice to help other people, because everything that I had experienced in my life, all the pain that I had gone through, all the suffering that I felt in my life, I can help other people with
Yes.
that. By just simply sharing what I've gone through. One, it's therapy for myself. Two, it allows other people to know that you can be vulnerable, you can have these horrible things, but you can also have something really great in your life. Whatever that means to you, you can have that.
So
it's accomplishable.
You and I are like brothers from another mother, man. Because like it's because we're coming to the end of the show today, and I love the fact that we're hitting on this, because that's the power of putting in the reps And as he shared today, is you're putting in the personal development, the professional development, right? It comes back to him being a dad or a super dad and being a great family. It's like, you got to take care of yourself. Well, then eventually, if you've been taking care of yourself enough and building your personal and professional skill sets, you reach a point where now your dam is bigger and stronger than it's ever been, and now you could take on more. And you realize, wait a minute, I want to give back to others. Like, I just started getting into public speaking in the past 2 years. So I'm kind of like in the same world as you, where it's like you realize, like, wait a minute, part of my story, there's something to share. Like, I have a whole different energy that manifests when I'm on stage. It's funny. And it's different than the podcast. But it's funny because with the podcast, kind of like you with the book. The podcast is over 2 years old now. I have, as of today, 221 shows up online. So that's a lot of content. So as you put in the reps, you get more and more confident. You meet more and more great co-hosts and more people. And then next thing you know, you start rediscovering, oh, wait a minute, that book project, now the book's in motion. Like, it just starts flowing. And I think I'm interested to see how you want to comment on this, but you eventually reach a point where it's like, what is the legacy that I'm going to leave behind in this world? That's where I think about today. Is I can always go back to a classic W-2 world if I wanted to. I could build more businesses in my future, which I plan on. But it's like all along the way. But what is your legacy you're leaving behind? What is your message? And that's where I feel everybody when they put in enough personal and professional development, we all reach that manifestation of, whoa, what is my footprint on this world? What is my legacy that I could be building to leave behind? Because we're all going to move on sooner or later. And I never thought that way. 8 years ago when I was firefighting, I was just firefighting. I didn't think about legacy back then. I wasn't thinking about a podcast or a book or speaking on stage or anything. I was just happy to leave the corporate world for a couple of years.
My thought was just be a good dad. Just be a good dad. That's all I cared about. Because I had kids, so I was like, just be a good dad. That's all that matters.
I love that.
And that still matters. That's a huge part of my life. But I think about my legacy often, and what kind of footprint do I want to leave on this world? Do I just want to be somebody that woke up every day, went to work, and came home and took care of his kids?
It is.
Or do I want to be more than that? Do I want to wake up every day, go to work, whatever that work may be for me, and then not only be a great father to my kids, teach them the things that are going to help them overcome their adversities, and allow them to do what they have a love for and have a passion for. But who else can I help?
There we go.
Like, how can I help other people? And through coaching, I do that. Through speaking, I do that. Through the book, I can do that. You know, that's
again for people who are just tuning into the live feed. My Happiness Journey. Check it out on Amazon, people. And again, this is linked on your website too, right?
Yes, that's on my website.
Yep. Give them the website.
Link right.
It's his name.
Website?
Yeah.
The website is jeremyvmotivates.com.
jeremyvmotivates.com.
Yep.
So you always got to throw a domain name in once in a while.
Yeah.
So it's not all about Amazon. I try and get people to go to their core brand site. And actually on that point, as we're bringing the show to a close, where do you push most of your content at? Are you more of an Instagram guy these days, Facebook guy, LinkedIn? Like, what is your platform or choice?
Instagram is definitely
image heavy. Okay.
Yep. Image heavy.
So
video heavy.
How can they follow you on that? What's your at on that one?
JLV_motivation.
There you go. JLV_motivation. And that's linked on your site too, right?
Yep, that's linked on my site.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll hack people. When you launch a website, please link all of your social media profiles so people can easily click on them.
Yeah.
Please.
It was very helpful.
Once in a while. People don't do that.
So no, yes, you can follow me there, JLV_motivation. I do a lot of video well, I shouldn't say a lot of video. Every Thursday there's a video that goes up, and then all the rest is all picture content with just positive reinforcement of stuff, things, and
like daily
imagery,
some stuff. Weekly imagery.
Yeah,
because people need that to put in their reps.
About myself.
Yeah.
You know, so some of it's just motivation, some of it's personal share. Every Thursday is a Thankful Thursday video where I share what I'm thankful for, and I encourage anybody that watches that video, put a comment down. I want to know what you're thankful for. You know, I encourage
That's
that.
true. If we're pushing content, I do appreciate people's feedback.
Yes.
Some people are afraid to comment. I'm like, that's
okay.
The point. Like, comment away. Like on this video today, please comment away because he's sharing it to his feed too. So that way you guys will be able to like talk, connect with him, whatever. Actually, on that point, he does speak, like not just here, but I mean like actually on stage. So if you got athletic teams or people that you're looking to share that transformational story, that's what I love about your background, is that if I was going to put you on stage, I would want to share that transformation, that mental gain that you've talked with us today about.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we always have, you've listened to the show. I always have my guest co-host close out the show. You already kind of left some powerful words already just now, but is there an all-encompassing message where your brand is at today and what you're trying to do moving forward with the book and the public speaking? But what is is there an all-encompassing message you want to leave behind to the listeners and the watchers that's kind of like your message? You're part of that legacy, right? Part of the legacy.
So
final words.
The one quote that I kind of started building everything on, which I still truly believe in, is kind of what you titled this whole thing around. If you believe it, you can achieve it.
And that's right. We used it on the Facebook Live.
And I really do believe in that message because, yes, there's always action that goes behind everything. But you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in what you're doing. You've got to believe in everything about whatever it is. Because without that belief, you can put in all the work that you want to, and the belief is what pushes you to achieve that ultimate thing, because it's that belief that keeps you moving forward, that I'm doing something significant, I'm doing something important for myself, for other people, whatever it may be. So you got to believe in it, and then you can achieve it.
I love that, guys. Well, listen, we do it to bring the show to a close, and
yes,
Facebook Live. We all have lives. This is part of the hustle. Like, we're sacrificing our Saturday mornings for you guys to give back because we actually care. And again, that was my little tip. What he just left you with, the belief. As soon as you said that, it's just tied it back full circle to, obviously we just talked about legacy. When you really sit down and think about the legacy component, the big picture, what you're leaving behind this world, the belief component will tie to that. It's like, oh, now I can put in the reps. So every rep you start putting in, every step you take, every mistake that you make and learn from, embrace the mistakes, people.
Yes. Yes.
Is part of the journey. You said journey at the beginning of the show. It's part of your journey. It's going to help you move into where you're meant to be down the road, and it's not going to be a perfect journey. Actually, over the years, I've now realized I actually now love finding speed bumps, or if you're a skier like me, hitting the moguls. I can't stand moguls, but I still ski them because I suck at it, and I'm going to get better at it. I'd rather just go fast on a race course. So, but just tying it all together, guys, the journey's meant to have the bumps, the walls to climb over, the dams will break. Part of his story, guys. So again, please check out his book, My Happiness Journey, the 8 guiding principles to a happy life, okay? And we'll be airing this in the next 2 weeks. So subscribe to Live the Fuel on your favorite podcast app that you guys are using. You can also just listen to it right from the website. I have a player on there too. And then this video will actually also air on YouTube as well. So we'll keep it here on Facebook, but then we're going to air it on YouTube. We're going to air in the podcast world. Because people like him that I bring on the show, I want to make sure more people are finding out about their message and what they're doing. So again, thanks for tuning in to another powerful Live the Fuel podcast show. Again, we're here to fuel your health, your business, your lifestyle, and Jeremy Vermeulen definitely did that for us today. So we're going to get back to our weekends. Talk to you guys again soon. Remember, you too can live the fuel. Thanks, gang. And you're free of the pod.
All right.
Facebook Live, people.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Do you want to throw a little extra flavor for the live people because they're special? You guys are special.
They are
anybody
definitely
watching
special.
This is special.
If you tuned in, I just want to say thank you for tuning in because
we've had a little microphone here for you guys. So
yes, he's upgrading. He's upgrading all the time. But yeah, thank you guys for just tuning in, and I appreciate every day, and I want you guys to appreciate every day because every day is something amazing in your life. Even when, like, today it's cloudy out. It's not even a beautiful day, but it's a day that I'm alive.
I think our microphone hands even shivered a little bit a couple times. So, yeah.
Yeah, I kept on shifting. If you notice that I was shifting, it's trying to keep a little bit of body movement.
Yeah.
But
we should have shut up and started doing air squats while we were actually doing the podcast. You guys would have been more entertained with that.
Legs was yesterday for me. I'll pass on that.
I just came from a CrossFit workout. My legs are fried. So, Anyway, guys, check him out. He's tagged in this post, obviously. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, I mean, part of that legacy in life is if you can get through positively to just one person. Mm-hmm. So if one of the people who listen or watch this feed today.
Yeah, got something out of it.
Came out of it with something to share with somebody else. That's the positivity. That's our responsibility. Is when you come across wisdom or powerful things to learn in life, share them. Okay, like you can't just keep it in here. Like share it with somebody else. So listen to the people around you who might be struggling and get through to them.
There's enough negativity out there, guys.
There's plenty of negativity out there.
A lot more positivity would do us a whole lot better.
Yeah. There we go, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to shut this puppy down. I got to head to Jersey, go hang with some people. So, later.
Bye, everybody.